content on a website is displayed on different web pages. And within our software, the content itself falls into some type of design widget. Now, our widgets are broken into the basics, lists, media, business, social, and advanced. Now, there's over 30 widgets at our disposal, and it's important to understand how each of them work and when to use them. Your most commonly used widgets are going to fall in the basics, and again, it's going to revolve around adding text, buttons, columns, images, and so forth. At its key, the most important part to understand about widgets is that everything we're doing is drag and drop what you see, what you get, and we're choosing how we want not only the content to display on a desktop, but it's also choosing how it's going to display on a mobile device, whether it's a tablet, phone, or so forth. So whenever we're adding widgets, it's always a good idea to start with some type of column. Essentially, we have rows and columns, which once we've added one, we can then come to its row settings and then choose how many we actually want to display between 1 and 6. Once we choose how many we want to display, it breaks up how many columns, and then again we can choose what we want their width to be and so forth. We can also choose to add a column within a column, which allows us to again break up columns and choose how we are going to organize the content within this space. If you think about widgets, it's a lot like kind of like a newspaper and organizing the content within it, and then again how things are going to display. If you were to make something smaller, everything from left to right will start stacking on top of one another. So if we went onto a phone, this would be the first column or content, then this would be underneath it, and then the third would be underneath that. And by using these columns, we're really controlling how we want the content to be displayed. And by grouping content, it obviously makes it obvious that this content is related, instead of just having it kind of scattered about without being confined into individual columns or rows. Now, when we added this as a 3-column, you'll notice if we come here to the column settings, we can change the order. So if we hit move, it moved this over, and obviously that's there. But what we can't do is we can't clone. We cannot clone a column setting. So often what's a good idea is to put a row within another column. So we'll come to widgets, bring this column, put it within this, and now this column is within these two, and it doesn't affect the way it's being displayed, but it allows me to come here and clone it, which is very powerful to keep the consistency from group to group. So I'll give you an example. We'll come to widgets, we'll scroll down to image, display it there, select her, and let's say we wanted this to have some type of image effect. So let's say we want it to be essentially grayscale. So we're going to turn this to a black and white photo, and we want it to have a layout where the margin is pretty decently sized around the entire part of it. If we want to keep these settings, and you can see the margin and everything in there, if I just were to come to widget and then add this image, I would have to, if I wanted it to display like that, I'd have to go through all of that extra process and so forth of changing the design and everything else I just did. Instead, so we'll delete that. Instead, I want to come in here and I'm going to hit clone and then drag it over, and then I can quickly change the image to something else, but it still has that margin and everything else that we're looking for. So again, by cloning, we are going to keep consistency, and it's just going to make things much easier. But it's important to understand that you often have, it's a good idea to create a column or row within one another. Okay, outside of widgets, which again, there are many different ones that have many different configurations, we have panels. Now, panels are essentially pre-designed widgets that already have a lot of content for us to use, and we just have to switch out different variables such as images and text. So this is a nice 4-row across column where we can easily, again, just start switching out the images. The text is already formatted for us and so forth. And again, we can override anything, but it gets us a nice starting point. So again, within the Design Your Own section, we're really talking about the capabilities of selecting a product and designing your own using our online design tool. The Contact Us revolves more around forum and collecting information as far as sending us a message. Promo banners. Promo banners are essentially a lot like what they sound like. They're going to be banners that we put at the top of a page, typically like a home page or something. And again, so we already have a nice little layout of this header, this second header, text, and the button and so forth. And if we want to, quickly row settings, background, image, replace it, we can quickly replace it with something else. And, we just are, by using a panel, you're already having pre-designed widgets that are very easy for us to edit. Large banners are a lot like promo banners. They're going to typically be at the top of a page and have some simple, nice spacing for you to be working from right from the get-go. Text blocks, just like what they sound like. It breaks primarily text into different columns and rows and allows you to quickly just retypeset what you want it to be and look like. Lastly, we have benefits, which are going to break down the different benefits. So if we come to our promise, bring it into here, we have all of our different settings. And then again, we can configure all of the different settings within here. So, I want to come into spacing and I want it to be extra large. We can start spacing and doing whatever we want. But by already adding that panel, we're going to make configuring the widget a bit easier. It's just you're going to still need to understand how the widgets works, even if you're going to go the panel route. Hopefully you find this video helpful in designing your custom website a breeze. Thank you.